The Department of Justice has ordered one of the nation's largest craft stores to hand over illegally acquired artifacts from Iraq. Hobby Lobby will now have to pay a $3 million fine after buying more than 5,500 rare tablets and bricks. That's nearly double what the company paid for them, which is valued at nearly $12 million. CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid joins us now from Washington with more. Paula, why was Hobby Lobby collecting the artifacts in the first place?
It's not unusual for companies to invest in or to collect art. And of course, Hobby Lobby is a Christian company and they run their organization consistent with biblical principles. So when they wanted to start collecting, it's not surprising that they were seeking out Bibles, manuscripts, and other sort of biblical antiquities. They say they wanted to amass a collection that they could share with students and scholars and maybe even share with some museums.
So not unusual to collect, but where did they go wrong?
Well, Dana, there's two different stories. Hobby Lobby says that they were new to this and they didn't fully appreciate the complexities of buying these kinds of artifacts. They also say that they have relied heavily on the dealers and the shippers, who they say also did not really understand how to properly label them. But the Justice Department and the court documents tell a much different story. In fact, the Justice Department says a lot of these transactions were, quote, fraught with red flags. In fact, Hobby Lobby actually hired an expert who specifically told them whenever you are buying anything that came from Iraq, you have to be super careful to make sure that you establish and verify who originally owned these, and be very careful how you bring it to the United States. You could potentially commit a crime. And according to the court documents, the president of the company and a consultant traveled to the United Arab Emirates to inspect these items. And when they went there, they said they were very sort of informally displayed. They never actually spoke with the person who allegedly owned them. And when it was time to pay for the items, they relied on a third party who told them to wire money to several other people. So despite all these red flags, Dana, they still bought 5,000 items. And it's just unclear, was this a rookie mistake or was it just ignoring all of these red flags? Ultimately, they were able to settle the case with the Justice Department. But again, two different explanations for what exactly happened here.
And even if it is that rookie mistake, the ignorance doesn't mean that you're not liable for what has happened.
Exactly.
What more can you tell us about the settlement between the DOJ and Hobby Lobby?
Under this settlement, they have to forfeit all of the items that they have purchased. The Justice Department will post those online for anyone who believes they are the true owner to make a claim, and that includes the Iraqi government. Ultimately, it will be up to the Justice Department to determine who actually gets these artifacts. Hobby Lobby also has to pay the government $3 million and establish some new guidelines. If they want to continue collecting, they have to establish to the federal government that they will comply with the laws and rules for collecting these kinds of items.
And it's not the first time that the company's been at the center of a legal issue. Why did they agree to settle this time instead of fighting the charges?
Well, I think you're referring to their famous Supreme Court case where they fought the birth control mandate of the Affordable Health Care Act all the way up to the Supreme Court, where they were ultimately successful. But Dana, this is not like that. Their Supreme Court case, that was a very complicated issue, something that had really not been ruled on by the courts, an issue on which intelligent minds can disagree. But here, this is not that kind of case. They were warned by an expert to be very careful. They were receiving packages that were deliberately mislabeled. There were so many red flags that they missed. It's unlikely that a judge or jury was going to let this pass. So the best thing that they could do here was settle this case as they have.
CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid in Washington. Paula, thank you.